Today on Valve Cut Content, we are taking a very deep dive into the leaked 2011 alpha for Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Here we go. Before we get started is a word from today's sponsor. Epix.gg, the ultimate digital collection. Your favorite players can be in your pocket. This is an app on Android and iOS that allows players to collect digital trading cards based around professional Counter-Strike players. Some of these can have cosmetics built in, some of them are signed, and based on your performance, you can get on a leaderboard. So a little history lesson. Counter-Strike Global Offensive started as a game called Counter-Strike 1.5, whose original purpose was to just port the Counter-Strike Source experience onto that generation of consoles, being the PS3 and Xbox 360. This version of the game evolved, and even though it started development around 2009 or 2010, by the time the game was announced in 2011, it was unrecognizable from its original iteration. By then being renamed to Counter-Strike Global Offensive, this game was shown around, and this was not developed by Valve. It was developed by Hidden Path Entertainment, as well as Turtle Rock helping out a little bit. The version of the game that was first released, and especially the version of the game that was first shown off at PAX 2011, is unrecognizable. And somehow, members of the Half-Life 2 Project Beta team were able to find the 2011 PAX showcase build of Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and within it were many cut features. Just to name a few, you had an entire cut weapon, the FN Scar 17 assault rifle, the model, scripting, and menu stuff all found within the game. You also had a significant amount of unused factions, some of which were fully modeled and were eventually just cut out of the game. However, if you take a look at the UI resources for this game, there are many cut factions. Most interestingly, every single one of the factions had a female counterpart. The art you're seeing was originally used in order to pick the class you were playing. Even though this was being developed by Hidden Path Entertainment with help from Turtle Rock, some Valve help was seen. So, for example, the single-player training map that's still seen within the game today was actually written by Chet Falasek, the writer of the episodic Half-Life games, Left 4 Dead, and Portal 2. What's interesting is Chet actually did temporary voice lines for everything seen in an early version of this training map, and some of his voice lines still exist in this early build.
Come on, that's not the head. Aim for the head. You want to shoot him in the head? That's the toe, not the head. These targets will show you how much damage is done in each location. Unsurprisingly, the highest damage is done to the head, then the chest, and finally, you'll only do a small amount of damage shooting your enemy in the toe. Why don't you take out these two targets, and then we can begin the test. Now we're going to see how fast you can do this. The decent time's 30 seconds. I'm betting 45 for you. Good job. Do you know what would have made that defusing faster? If I'd actually remember to give you the defusing kit? They'll shorten the time it takes to defuse a bomb. Sorry about that. We're done here. Let's move on out to the active training course. Nicely done. You can experiment in the field to find out what weapons can penetrate what material at different distances. For now, let's get out into the sunlight and shoot some wood in the head. Nice work! You can fire a gun. Make sure to observe your bullet spread and weapon kick during fire. From your inability to find the one weapon that is in this room, I have theorized you must have been your team's translator. We've got a lot of work ahead of us. Do you need a hint? It's the shiny thing in the counter. Now pick it up and let's get started. Nice work with those wooden terrorists. For this next test, we need you to pick up the gun and fire short, controlled bursts at the target. A great marksman can do this under 5 seconds. A decent shot can do this under 15. Let's see how you do. Now we need to do some target identification. We've got good guys and we've got bad guys. Need you to shoot the bad guys. Just to prove you're paying attention, why don't you pick up that gun and shoot 5 bad guys for me. There, thanks for coming out to the Geo Test Center today. I'm sure these tests will be beneath a man of your stature, but a quick refresher is always good, and HQ likes to see every new recruit run through these tests at least once. Let's get started. Pick up that weapon and unload the clip into the target.
The entire cut game mode, Scavenger, is found here and is fully playable. I've actually made a video on this in particular last year. References to maps that don't exist anymore, such as DE Depot and DE Lighthouse, are seen throughout the game. However, the maps themselves are completely lost. What's most interesting to me is before the training map was put in, there were tutorial images that were just shown to the player, and these screenshots were never updated. They are very early screenshots from the game that use the original HUD, are playing some of the maps that have been cut and never seen from again, and honestly are an excellent time capsule from what Hidden Path was planning with the original Counter-Strike 1.5 release. You also had this weird feature where every time you picked up a new weapon, they would announce the name of that weapon. And even stranger is that you would hear the announcement from every other player in your game. And of course, we need to mention that Mark IV, a former Hidden Path Entertainment employee, did a lot of prototyping for the interfaces of CSGO and posted a lot of images on them. These were found by Valve Time. However, they essentially show a couple of things. First of all, in the game, you are actually able to choose your class, essentially allowing you to play as any of the factions within any of the maps. There was also a pretty in-depth system related to cosmetics. Not only were you able to change the base costume of your faction, but you were also able to purchase headwear, face gear, torso wear, and leg wear with money that you earn by playing the game over time. All of this was designed for 1.5, not CSGO, because all of this was designed specifically for consoles. What's interesting is this head, face, torso, leg system is still in the game and is still being experimented with to this day by Valve. One day you might see this put into CSGO, and by the end of it, you see what is the final version of the game that we have access to. That said, there's a date on one of these screenshots being March 24th, 2009, giving you an idea of just how old this version of Counter-Strike Global Offensive truly is. There's a lot more in the history of Counter-Strike Global Offensive, especially when talking about CS 1.5, but a lot of it has been lost to time or just isn't available in the public. If you have any information about Counter-Strike Global Offensive's development or hell, anything related to Valve Cut content, my email is tylermcvicker@yahoo.com, and thank you very much for watching the very first episode of Valve's Cut content. I'm Tyler McVicker. This is Valve News Network. Have a good day. Adios.